So I've been getting a lot of questions and comments regarding the M550 when it comes to max cooling mode. It is a very heavy topic, I've noticed, not just when people go to tune, but just in general. I'm gonna break all of it down for you guys today in this video. What is up, guys? JB Cars back here, and today I have another informational kind of walkthrough video for you guys here with the M550. As you see, we have been getting a lot of snow and stuff lately, so we've been putting these winter tires to use. Same thing with the F30 as well. Just getting the use out of, these cars in the winter. They're so good in the winter. It makes you, think to yourself, hey, like, maybe I should get winter tires for my BMW. And if you are in a winter climate, I 100% recommend it. I am going to be making a video in the spring talking about the differences between summer and winter tires and all seasons as well. So you know what kind of tires to put on your vehicle, particularly BMWs. But anyways, the topic of today is max cooling mode. So a lot of people that I've noticed, they're doing piggyback or they're doing, flash tunes from like tuners such as, Boot Mod, MHD, JB4, like all those tunes, when you go to add the tune or flash it, there's always been that option, that little box that says, max cooling mode. What exactly is max cooling mode? All right, so when it comes to max cooling mode, that temp gauge all the way on the right, that is actually the cooling gauge. You can't physically see the oil level in this car, which I kind of hate. That's the one thing I do dislike about the pre-LCI G30s. On the newer LCI G30s, you can go into the iDrive and Sport, wherever, and you can actually see the oil temperatures. In this car, you only get this gauge for coolant. Just a quick couple notes. This gauge here to the right, when it is at that bottom line, which is pointing to now, whenever the gauge is in that blue area, the engine is still cold. So, it's not really advised to, be ripping it or, be full-blown pushing the car when the coolant level is in that blue area. Now that if we move up to that first line up right there, I've noticed that is when the oil temperature, it starts moving out of the blue at about 140 degrees Fahrenheit, and it moves to that first white dash at 150 degrees Fahrenheit. And which I've also noticed, that is if you are, an economical kind of guy and you're using EcoPro, that is when EcoPro, when it gets to 150, it lets you start coasting. Also, when the temp gauge gets to the middle spot, which is where it always is, it is at 165 degrees Fahrenheit. So a couple things I've noticed. I recently just turned off max cooling mode. I will throw the clip up real quick of me flashing the car back. So guys, I am flashing the car real quick. I'm going to be going back to my maps, and I'm going to go back in here to my tune, and I'm actually going to be turning off sport cooling mode, just for the winter time at least. As you can see, here is max cooling mode right here, and we're going to switch this to off. So we're going to turn it back off, and I'm going to reflash the car real quick, and I'll be back with you guys in a second. All right, the agent is just connected to the car, and I have come in and made the revisions to the tune to turn off max cooling mode. So I'm going to re-flash the car, and let's flash the car. And there it goes. It is now tuning it. As you see, we are getting drivetrain malfunction, and it is throwing up all sorts of errors. That is totally normal as we tune the car. And there it goes. It is all done, and now we officially have reflashed the tune, and max cooling mode is no longer on. So I will do some drives, check some stuff out, and I will get back to you guys on how the car is running. And as you can see from flashing the car back to no max cooling mode, I'm gonna share some of the results I've had with you guys. So before max cooling mode, if I had the car in just, you know, regular comfort or Eco Pro, here's a quick clip on screen of me actually going in with Beamer Link, which I will go over in another video. I was able to go in and look at the actual temp gauges with the oil and the coolant. Those are your two main, you know, temperatures to look out for. Also, really transmission. In the roughly 20 to 25 minutes I was driving, the temperatures, both of them, this is with max cooling mode on, and the temperature outside being roughly 30 degrees. The engine and oil only got up to, you know, 137 or whatever is on there. And it just shows, so when max cooling mode is engaged, it is constantly keeping the engine cool. So it takes very, very long for it to get anywhere near operating temperature. The way the valve works for the thermostat is when you turn max cooling mode on, it puts that valve in the halfway open setting. So it's still letting, you know, half of the coolant, half of the oil down into, you know, the oil cooler and the radiator for the coolant. It's still dumping it in, which is why it takes, you know, much longer for the car to warm up. Turn off max cooling mode, it goes back to normal operation where, you know, the car warms, it keeps that valve closed when you are, you know, in comfort or Eco Pro, and it warms the car. Even in sport, when the car is still warming up, it keeps it all closed up to let the car warm up and get to, you know, operating temperature. Another thing I've noticed too is actually, I'd say this is a very good pro with max cooling mode. It's really recommended for if you know, you're beating on the car a lot, you're doing a lot of high pulls, you know, you're really doing heavy accelerations all the time, such as in my POV video. I noticed when I was doing that POV video and I started, well, my coolant temps, I was looking on the iPad, the coolant was sitting like roughly right where that gauge is at 165, and the oil was at like 171. And by the time I was done and, you know, I did all those pulls and I ended the video, you know, it already cooled itself back down partially. Go check out my POV video halfway through when I started to, you know, cool the car down, just drive the car regularly. What I have the car set to actually in my sport settings here, if we go into sport individual, I have everything set to comfort and the engine in sport plus. So with max cooling mode, when you have the engine in sport, well, actually just sport plus, it keeps those targeted temperatures 10 degrees lower than normal. And by 10 degrees, I mean 10 degrees Celsius. So it keeps that somewhat cooler. And I've noticed it a lot actually over the summer when I even had it on. When you're driving with max cooling mode on in Eco Pro or Comfort, the engine temperatures sit roughly around 200 degrees for coolant and oil. But when you turn off max cooling mode and you're just using the stock, you know, cooling settings, it runs those temperatures hotter in those two modes. It keeps them roughly at around 220 to 230 on both of those degrees. And then when you engage sport or sport plus, it'll cool it down to really just 200. But I noticed when I was actually in sport plus, just full on sport plus, not this individual mode I have, it would cool those temperature. The oil and the coolant would both go from 200. The coolant would get down there really quick, but the oil would take some time. But the coolant would like skyrocket all the way down to like 180, 170 ish degrees. And I noticed when, and same thing with the oil would eventually get down there as well, but the cooler is obviously, you know, probably a fourth of the size of the radiator, so it's not, you know, gonna cool the oil as quickly. But another thing I also noticed actually when driving in the sport individual mode with max cooling mode on, keeping that engine in sport plus, it still keeps that valve for the coolant and it runs the fans, and the oil cooler valve is open as well. It opens it all the way, so it's constantly at that point circulating the coolant and the oil through those two coolers. And one thing I have noticed actually was because I have the transmission set to comfort, you know, it'll go to a way lower, it won't hold at RPM, it'll go to a way lower, or a higher gear, lower RPM, so like 1,000, you know, RPMs, when if I was just a normal sport plus, it's over over 2,000 the whole time. So, you know, that showed a lot when I was driving. And actually this coolant gauge, when it was at the middle 165, I noticed while driving at one point, the coolant was way colder than the oil. And that gauge actually started going down, which was, I've never seen that before, but that's kind of crazy. It's really unique. I really like it. I highly recommend turning it on for the summer, especially if you like to, you know, have spirited drives and stuff with your car. It's a really great mode for people that are spirited drivers. I highly, you know, once again recommend it. Those are pretty much all the basics and everything about sport cooling mode. So if you guys, you know, are looking to do sport cooling mode, I would recommend it definitely for the summer months. In the winter, I probably wouldn't recommend it just because the car takes so long to warm up. I mean, like, so long. Like, on my commute to work, I literally was getting to the freeway, which is roughly 25-30 minutes from my house, and this temp gauge was nowhere near the middle. So I would not recommend it. I would not recommend it in the winter months because it's constantly getting cold air. I noticed actually too that driving comfort, well, I was actually an Eco Pro, literally the oil and coolant would not go higher than 180. I turned it off. I flashed it back a day ago or so, and now the car's back to its routine settings. Only thing is, you know, if I ever go to Sport Plus or anything, I think the lowest the temps are going is back to normal, so like 200 or 190 area. I've yet to experience the car actually get over 210 in both oil and coolant, but I'll find out next drive to work, which will be a while because obviously it's Christmas and stuff like that going on. But I just wanted to make this quick little video for you guys to talk about sport cooling mode. I know I've gotten a couple questions and comments about it, so I hope this was informational. If you did find it informational and you are looking to do it, you know, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you guys are planning to do. I know I've been getting a lot of personal DMs as well for people interested in the M550. I'm telling you, this is the route to go. Simplest bolt-ons, and it's not anything over the ordinary. I personally think this is the best setup for an M550. Still retaining that muffler, you know, having options to control the valve still and stuff like that. But yeah, I really thank you guys for stopping by and learning more about what max cooling mode is for your car. And I hope you guys look forward to, you know, doing it for your car. But that's about it for me. I've got nothing left to really talk to you guys about. I'm gonna be looking to make a Beamer Link and Beamer Tech video. I know they're two different apps. A lot of people are asking, you know, what's the difference between this one, you know, and the other. So I will eventually get to a video and touch on that topic as well. Anyways, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. Once again, leave a like, subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate all the love you guys have been giving me, not just on YouTube, but on my TikTok. Please go follow the TikTok. Not begging for subscribers or supporters, but I love what you guys do, and I love the car community itself. So thank you guys for watching once again, and JB Cars out.
Bitch, you know that, pull up with the whole bag. I just got a new coupe and it's so fast. I went through the underworld, I'll never go back. I be scared and I bitch.